welcome to another Honda CB200 video. In this video we are carrying on from the previous one where I've stripped off the undercoat protective material from the mudguard, also removed the filler that had been put inside this, and I'm going to be putting this into a derusting bath. I've got a whole load of other bits and bobs I need to derust, and for this derusting activity we're going to be using this stuff. So I've never used this before. I saw this on a couple of other YouTube videos, so I thought I'd give it a go. So this is Bilt Hamber Deox-C, and reading through the instructions, it talks about a 1 part that you can dissolve it in water per weight, by weight or volume, and it's 1 part Deox-C to 19 parts water, up to a suggested maximum of 1 part Deox-C to 4 parts water. So hopefully I've got my maths wrong. So hopefully I've got my maths right. And looking at this, I thought the easy thing to do was to try and put it all into sort of 1 litre. So to do their sort of 5% mix, 1 part Deox-C to 19 parts water, which gives us approximately a 5% concentration, we're going to need 52.653 grams of Deox-C per litre of water. And then I've done the other calculations. For 1 to 9, so a 10% concentration gives us 111 grams per litre of water, and then for a 1 to 4 or 20% concentration we get 250 grams per litre of water. So their maximum concentration is this 1 to 4, and they also say in the instructions and the leaflets that the stronger the concentration, the longer this product has as a shelf life. So as I want this mixture, I want to try and make it last as long as I can. I'm going to use a sort of this mix here, 1 to 9, so a 10% concentration, and just mix it up. So I've got all these parts that I've got here, and a load of other parts in a big tub. So I'm going to fill that with water to the point where they're covered, and then I shall mix up this with an additional 1 litre of water to however many other litres I use to make a concentrate to go into that. So before I give this a derust, I'm going to give it a clean. I've got some of this xylene thinner. Apparently it's a very strong thinner. And I'm just going to give this a rub down to get rid of any more of that undercoating stuff that was on it. Alright, so leave this to evaporate for a bit and dry off. And got my bucket of water with my litre measurements, and I've got my tub of bits all here ready to go. So the instructions talk about getting some nice warm water, so we'll go get some nice warm water, fill out the bucket and start filling up. Go free. So I want to use the least amount of water. So I just want to spread the parts out. I'll pour in the first 5 litres and see how that does. Doesn't look good. Probably going to need quite a bit more. Okay, I'll get back when it's all full. Okay, so I filled up the tub. I had to end up putting it on a block because I got to 20 litres and it wasn't covering everything. I'm actually just over 20 litres in there of water, 22.5 litres to be precise. And this Deox-C bottle, they suggest, can do 20 litres, which is at its lowest setting. I've also put in an old fish tank pump in there to circulate the water, and we'll leave it in to help agitate the water, bubbles in that as well. So to do my maths etc on this, I'm needing, over the 1 kilogram of Deox-C that's in here. So I'm going to use all of this in that tub, which will make a lower than 5% mix concentration. So what I'll probably end up doing is getting another tub of this and adding that to it to double it to the 10, which will then give me my 10 litres or something like that. I've got a load of old bottles, new 5 litre bottles up in the attic, so I can put it into that to keep this. So I might just end up having to leave this at the 5%. So I'm just going to open this up and pour it in. So here we are, live. Pour it on in. So you can see quite a bit of bubble action over here, and these rusty parts here. This is not coming from the pump, this is the Deox-C in the water working on the rust here. I might get a stick and give it a bit of a agitation just to try and help this stuff dissolve fully, as I can see quite a bit of it resting on the surface at the bottom. So yeah, I'll get some gloves on. It says it's okay for handling, but I've got a cat, so I've got some cuts, so I'm going to get some gloves and I'll give it a bit of a mush around. So just giving it a bit of a mix. But I realised I hadn't actually looked at showing you what some of these stuff is like. So we've got this thread for a tow bar wheel, for a trailer. Jockey wheel, I think, is the technical term for it. So there's that. The axle for the wheel on that jockey wheel. You've obviously seen the mud guard and the frame pieces. There's the handle, that's quite badly rusted there. Again, that might actually, no, I don't think that's aluminium. It's rusting, so it can't be aluminium. Yeah, you can see might be able to make out the bubbles. Anyway, there we go. So we'll put the lid on that. Stop any more critters getting into it. And I'll move this inside tonight. But yeah, because that's a lower concentration, that's down in the less than 5% concentration. So its weakest suggested concentration. I'm assuming it's going to take longer than the sort of the 12-24 hours that they're suggesting putting in there. But tomorrow on Monday I'll put another order in for another bottle of it and just increase the concentration of what's in there up to the 20%. Sorry, up to the 10% range. Keep the volume, but just add some more concentrate in there. So I've brought the tank inside. It's got quite dark a bit late that side, so I brought the tank in. I've also put in an old fish tank heater. I think it works. So that's in there, set at about 27 degrees centigrade, and I've still got the pump going, so that's putting flow over the heater and then around, giving you a double inside. I think the handle's done really well. De-rusting, that's the most obvious thing I've seen, as well as the stem of what is in fact the jockey wheel for a trailer. And yeah, I think it's all doing really well. So I'm going to leave this overnight, come back and check it in the morning. So it's now been 24 hours with the whole thing working. Still warm, so the heater's working okay. Let's have a look. So lots of bits looking a lot clearer. So what I'm going to do, take some of these out, take them in, give them a scrub and a wash with nice hot soapy water and a wire brush, and then obviously put some of them back in if need be. So there's the handle, but all that surface rust has gone. There's still some rust in here, but I think some of that is because the solution just can't get in there because there's a bit of crud, so I'm going to clean the crud out in there. But that's all that surface rust has gone completely on that, looking really nice. There's that screw thread, looking very good indeed. Again, needs to go in, be washed, wire brush to get rid of any of the loose, but that's looking a lot better. So these are looking good. Got a little bit of rust up in there and in there. It does talk about not putting good metal in there, and that's because you get this slight sort of tarnishing going on with it. But a scrub in some hot soapy water should get rid of that to a point. So yeah, it's looking good. And the mudguard's looking very good. So there's the chrome has not been affected. Got a little bit of blotching here and there, which hopefully will come out with polishing. But the inside is looking very good. Like I said, I'm going to take this in, give it a scrub, probably take each pipe in bit by bit, give it a scrub, some hot soapy water and a wire brush, and then rinse that and then bring it back out. But that's looking really good for removal of the rust. And if you remember rightly, this is a weak solution. It's not even at its 5% concentration that it recommends is sort of its minimum. And again, the chrome isn't affected. Bit of pitting here and there, but that's where the rust has got to the chrome. So yeah, I'll take this in, I'll give it a wash and a scrub, and back in a bit. I think, being really honest, the first thing I have to say about this Deox-C is wow. I am very impressed with its ability to get through the rust and clear bits away. The inside of this mudguard is looking really great. Areas where I'm going to be putting it back in is that where you've got the fold over here, there's rust up inside the fold there, obviously. So down in there, so giving that a good scrub, and that's got some out, but there's still some more in there, so that'd be good to get that out. But it really has gone through and got rid of a shed load of rust. And from a chrome finish of what it's like on chrome, the chrome is not damaged at all. There's pitting in the chrome, but that's because of the rust that's been removed. And so I think once this is all finished, then a really good scrub and a polish will really help bring what is left of the chrome back. And so yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm gonna yeah, very, very impressed with it. Bits, so the rust that was on this, which is the bracket for it, was quite deep, quite a bit of surface pitting. I think one of the big things to note with this stuff is this I took in, washed it in the kitchen, put it down, washed all the other bits and bobs, and it is noticeable how fast it then does start to flash rust. So that is a thing. They do talk about that in the packaging, and do talk about a surface product that can help reduce that. So I'm just having a look at some of these parts in more detail for the first time, really. And yeah, this is so this is the tensioner for the rear wheel, and right inside here, badly rusted in there, that I couldn't really get to. And there is surface pitting, which is only to be expected for the age of these pots and the condition they are in. But again, I think that's come out really nicely. And yeah, I'm very impressed. But sort of got a little bit of rust to get in there. So this is flash rusting very quickly. There's a little bit of rust in there to get to, and then there are the side pieces. So yeah, again, there's a side piece. Don't know how well you can see inside there for the rust, but it's actually, we've actually got the paint coming off. And in the case of what I'm showing now, a bit of looks like rubber sealant in there. Now, I'm only wearing gloves because I've got cuts on my hands. It says it's perfectly safe to use, but if you've got cuts, then to use gloves. So let's get this lot back in. Wow. So this is the outer, I don't know what you can see, the outer shaft of the jockey wheel, and that is just all clean. Look at that. That is lovely. And this is a weak solution. That's just blinding. So I'm just paying attention as I put it back in, and I noticed a few air bubbles as I was moving things around earlier on. So I'm just making sure there's no air bubbles trapped in the parts as I'm putting them back in. So there's all the pieces washed up and back in there for another night. So yeah, so I'm impressed with this Deox-C. I mean, like I said, this is a weak solution. It's not even the 5% solution that they recommend. It's sort of their minimum, and I'm already seeing brilliant results in the removal of rust and corrosion from these parts. Very impressed indeed. So like I said, I've got the tank heater at sort of 27ish degrees, 30 degrees as it were, and then a pump circulating the liquid around, and the whole thing has a lid on it over the night. So put that on. Okay, welcome back. Now for me it's been a week, work has been hectic, etc., and I've not been able to get to this. So it's actually been a whole week since this went in, and I've been giving you little snippets as we've been going through. I've also been in touch with Bilt Hamber, one to get some more Deox-C, and you saw the unboxing, so you saw that I got 2 of these for future projects, and I'm not actually going to make this concentrate any more. I'm going to leave it as it is, put this into bottles etc. that I've got up in the attic so I can use it again for future stuff. But I've got some more of this because there's going to be more to unrust as we go through. I've also had a long chat with them, and they're extremely helpful. And as part of this process of derusting, they strongly recommend that you use some of this, which is Atom Mac. Now they actually sent this as a free sample, which I just want to make clear. And I'm going to give this a go. So I'm going to get some of the parts out. I'm going to rinse one of them just in ordinary water, and I'm going to rinse another part in some water with a 2% concentration of this Atom Mac, so that we can see the difference, particularly on the flash rusting that happens, particularly after you've processed parts like this. In addition to that, I've also modified the processing that we're going to do on the mudguard. So having a chat with them, they recommended that we have a look at using some of this Electrox, there we are, which is, I think is like a zinc coating that it puts on. So we're going to put this underneath the mudguard, and then put that surface treatment, that underbody surface treatment on as well. So this should give us long-lasting corrosion protection, and then the underbody material should give us that sort of chip and stone protection as well. So I'm going to get 2 pieces out of the tub, I'm going to get set up, get 2 pieces out of the tub, and we're going to rinse one just in ordinary water and give a bit of a scrub with a wire brush, and the other one we're going to use some of this Atom Mac solution at 2% in that water, and then we're going to compare the two and on their flash rusting and see how quickly this does and what this does to the material. And how good this is. So yeah, so I'm going to get set up etc. and get ready then to wash 2 pieces, and we'll see how this works. So I've got 2 litres of water in here and here, just ordinary tap water, warm water. I'm going to add a drop or 2 of dairy, not a sponsor, and then I'm going to add the relevant amount of this Atom Mac. So 2% solution of that. So I'll get one part and I'll give it a scrub in this and put it here to dry after giving it a wipe and just damped off. I'll do the same for this for another part of about the same size, wipe it off dry and put it here, and then we'll see the effect of the Atom Mac solution. Okay, here are the 2 parts fresh out of the Deox-C. Just a quick dry, and I'll put them both in their mixtures. So that one into the water, that one into the water with Atom Mac, and then. So as I said before, I'm really impressed with this Deox-C. It has very quickly got rid of the rust coating and has left the metal looking really good. I wish I'd found it a lot earlier. So I'll leave that one in there while I do the other one. Again, changing brush, different brush. So it does talk about that if you do have good metal, it will sort of discolour, tarnish as it were the surface, but I found that just a wire brush very quickly will just get rid of that. For bigger parts obviously I'd use the wheel, but it's not, as it were, to remove corrosion, it's just to get rid of that tarnish and bring the metal back up. So there we are, there's both parts cleaned. So I'll move camera position, get her set up, and then I'll take these out and we can then get some time lapse probably on how these go. Again, I'm only wearing gloves because I've got cuts on my hands. The instructions are that this is all perfectly safe for hands, etc., unless you've got cuts. So I'm just literally giving this a quick dry off with a towel. So this one's the water, this one's the Atom Mac. Put it in there, and I'll set the time lapse going. So that was a time lapse looking at these two parts. I left the parts for about an hour in total, but I don't think it was very successful in showing the surface rust. So this part was washed in the water with some ferro liquid, this part was washed in water with the Atom Mac, and as it turns out actually this hasn't surface rusted at all. I can't see any rust on that anywhere, possibly a little bit just at the top here. But yeah, so I'm going to carry on using this Atom Mac as these parts were rusting when I did the first wash. But yeah, there we are. That was the experiment. Not very clear or distinct, but I'm going to rinse that in the Atom Mac as well. So I've turned the heater off and had it cooling down for a while now. So I'm going to start getting all these parts out. I'm going to give them a rinse in some water with some of the Atom Mac in it. And I'm then actually going to be putting them in the oven just to help them really dry off. I'll probably then get the wire brush out and give them a light brushing with the wire wheel just to clean them up, etc. And then we'll have a close look at things like the mudguard that won't be able to go into the oven to dry off, but all the other parts I hope will. But I'll leave them out in the sun. It's quite a nice day today. So I'll start getting these out, give them a wash and a scrub, and then we'll sort of look at them all and review post that. So I've just given this piece a scrub with a wire brush, just a general scrub, and you can see how it's come up compared to how it's come out fresh out of the mixture. All the parts are finally out, scrubbed, washed, and are in the oven dry, bar the bits that have got plastic on them. Right, I've chosen to save about 10 litres of this 22 litre mix that we've got. The instructions and online stuff talk about discarding when it's black and just taking it out. It's not actually black. So I've chosen some other random bits that I've got in the garage that you know, we can de-rust and paint, and at least they won't die and corrode anymore. So I'm going to put some of this in another tub, in a smaller tub, and discard the rest. So 10 litres keeping, the rest we'll use in that, and then what I don't need for these parts we'll get rid of. And there we have it. So we had the mudguard stripped, de-undercoated and de-rusted. I think this has come out beautifully. The mudguard's not in great condition and is never going to be in great condition, but the ability of this Deox-C to remove that rust I think is absolutely brilliant. Like I said a number of times, I do wish I'd found this a lot earlier. So the mudguard, there's the bracket for it. And then we've got the side panels all nicely back. And I've only had a very small amount of flash rust appear, just a little bit. But being honest, the solution that the bucket I had was black by the time I finished. So I think this is an absolute fabulous result for this de-rusting exercise. This Deox-C from Bilt Hamber, in combination with its atomic Atom Mac anti-rust and surface protection, is an absolute brilliant combination. The rust has been removed, the metal is prepped and ready for ongoing treatment, and I think it's really had an absolute brilliant result. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Like I think I've said a number of times, I wish I'd found this Deox-C a lot sooner. It's affordable, it's okay, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for making it to the end of it. I know it's been a bit of a long one. So if you like this kind of thing, then do hit the subscribe button and follow along as I part restore this Honda CB200, and hit the bell notification to be notified of future uploads. I do a whole load of other things as well, silverworking amongst other things as well. So do join us as we go through this. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much indeed, and do leave your comments below. I do read them all, and I try to reply to as many as I can. But that's it for now. So join us next time as we carry on with this front end rebuild. Bye.